All right, Isaiah Kim Martinez helping us sort out the Canes roster and personnel and the psyche of the team coming off that big Florida State game and heading into Georgia Tech. The Yellow Jackets at 3-1 could easily be 4-0 if you caught the Labor Day outing in Atlanta on primetime television against Tennessee. They pretty much dominated the game, ran it down Tennessee's throat. Big turnovers late in the game, one with what was looking like a two-score lead at that point, and they pretty much blew the game against Tennessee in multiple overtimes there. But they bounced back with 3 wins. Now they're starting to hit the beef of the schedule. So Georgia Tech is the Georgia Tech that we typically know and love in the ground game, running the triple option. Unlike the anything we see other than the service academies, 396 rushing yards per game this year. Miami ranks in the top 10 in rush defense. It's certainly going to be a challenge once again to sort out what's going on up front, but it's a team Miami faces every year, so they're more familiar than most. Your thoughts about Georgia Tech's personnel and their chance in this one offensively?
I think it's an interesting matchup from the aspect that you look at it. Obviously, Georgia Tech being such a run-heavy offense, but then Miami being good at guarding the run. So it kind of makes you think, like, which strength is going to kind of prevail in this situation. Like you said, 396 rushing yards a game. The past 3 games, they've hit over 400. So they're on pace to break their own All-ACC single-season record that they set in 2014. So you just look at that, and obviously Georgia Tech being a run-first team with the triple option, don't throw a whole lot. You can't help but be impressed that this season they've kind of, upped that level even in their strength, so to speak. And they're 26 in the polls right now. They're just outside the top 25. So even though you're at home, if you're the Canes, you've won 4 straight against Georgia Tech at home, you can't underestimate them regardless, because they're going to wear you out offensively, or when the Canes are on defense, because they're going to use a lot of that clock, and they're going to really test the conditioning of your defense, whoever they're playing. And in Miami's case, Georgia Tech's coming off a bye, but Miami is coming off a win that took a lot out of them, and you could see it. So conditioning is going to be huge in this game, and obviously Georgia Tech with guys like Daquan Marshall and Kiervante Bennett, I believe, Kiervante Benson. Those are 2 guys that have combined for 450 rushing yards in 2017 each. The only other combination to do that is Alabama's combination of quarterback, running back. So just puts it in perspective for them. They're a talented bunch, so the Canes can't take them lightly.
Yeah, the quarterback off to a good start through 4 games. This is his first year as the starter. Ted Roof's defense off to a good start as well, as Georgia Tech ranks in the top 5 in the ACC in defense, although team rankings at this point, before we hit the heart of the conference schedules, only mean so much. But Georgia Tech looks to be what they typically are. They're going to be a postseason team, but not necessarily an elite team, win 7 or 8 games, and Miami hoping that they don't pull a surprise in South Florida on a Saturday. So the Canes and Georgia Tech, do you ever make predictions on these games, Isaiah?
Oftentimes we do, and we try to take it, like you said, into consideration. Yes, they have a good record. Yes, they've shown some signs, but at the same time, you've got to take into consideration that who they've played to this point, and it's still early. We haven't gotten into that bulk of the season, so we do make predictions. My prediction here is Miami will win by a considerable margin.
Okay, Isaiah Kim Martinez. You can catch him at the Miami Hurricane on-site publication for the Miami Hurricanes, and the Canes obviously off to a great start, looking to gain another win in the ACC and in the Coastal against one of its chief counterparts there. And probably the Virginia Tech stands as the key game in the ACC left. And, of course, Notre Dame also waiting outside of the conference later in the year. All right, Isaiah, we appreciate you breaking things down for us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.